physique. 2023 about to be crazy.
All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, if you have not seen it already, the latest physique updates from Big Ramy, courtesy of his coach Dennis James, taken apparently 2 days ago on Sunday, October 30th, right after the guest posing he did for Dennis James. And this was at exactly 7 weeks out from the 2022 Mr. Olympia. Now, to date, during this Olympia prep, I think that this is the best update that we've gotten from Ramy at any point during his prep. The main reason being, you can see his entire physique here. He shows his upper body, he shows his legs, he's got some goon light going on, he hits two different poses. He's kind of got his, he changes the way that he's holding his wrists in these most muscular shots. So you can really get kind of a complete picture on how his physique is looking. And the main thing that stands out to me is now that we're finally seeing his legs, this update and in other updates we've seen of his legs, how crazy vascular his quads look. I mean, they don't seem like they really look that vascular on the Olympia stage, especially not at the last couple Olympia. So my takeaway from this is that at 7 weeks out, Ramy is extremely lean. He's extremely dry. He's in very good shape. He still looks massive, even though he's in this good shape. And like I say, time and time again, broken record. But I think Ramy's going to win again this year. I think he's going to be very tough to beat. I think it's going to be a battle for second place. And I think the more interesting conversation is not necessarily who's going to win the Olympia this year, but who's going to move up, who's going to find themselves in the top three that maybe wasn't there before, who's going to be battling out in that first call out for second, third, fourth. A lot of really good young and up-and-comers, but looking at Ramy and every update that we've seen of him, I just don't see any of these guys beating him yet. Nick Walker's great, but I don't see him beating this. Michael Krizo's great, but I don't see him beating this. Andrew Jacked, phenomenal physique. I don't see him beating Ramy. I think the only way that Ramy doesn't win this thing is if something goes horrifically wrong during his prep. If he gets injured in the next couple of weeks, if he gets sick, if he's like misses his flight and he's late to the show, something catastrophic like that would have to happen, I think, to keep Ramy from winning. He just looks so far ahead of how he usually looks and so far ahead of everybody else. I've got a hard time seeing any of these guys beating him. Hunter, Nick, Brandon, Hottie. I just don't think it's going to happen. But as always, let me know if you agree or disagree with me in the comment section down below. But I think it's Ramy's show to lose. Now, next up in the news, Phil Heath. You guys saw this in the intro of this video. But in Phil Heath's recent Instagram stories, he's showing off his new physique. He's talking a little bit about the process that he's going through in terms of building up his new physique. And one thing he specifically says is he's building his new physique to show a crazy new physique in 2023. He says his 2023 physique is going to be insane. Now, what we already know is that he's not competing in this year's Olympia. We know he's doing the commentary, therefore it will be impossible for him to do both compete and commentate. But in the past, he's hinted at maybe a potential comeback in the future. His documentary is still not done, the Breaking Olympia that was supposed to come out a couple years ago. So I'm assuming they're still working on the filming of that. He said in an interview recently that sometimes he thinks maybe it would have been best had he not come back in 2020 and waited a couple of years and potentially came back in 23, 24, and given his body, the full amount of time to recover from the surgeries, the hernia situation, to fully rebuild his physique for a comeback, which he thinks he would have been ready for in 23 or 24. And now this, saying he's building a new physique for 2023 and that it's going to be insane, is this basically confirmation that he is going to be prepping in 2023, preparing his body for something specifically in 2023. I'm starting to more and more believe that that's the case because it seems like he keeps dropping these little breadcrumbs, these really small hints here and there that he's not done competing. I don't think that he's retired. I think when he does retire, he will announce it. Or, for example, in the documentary that he's filming, I think that would have been a great opportunity if he did retire, to retire and announce it on stage and have it be a part of the documentary, which is something I still feel he might be waiting to do until 2023. I'm still kind of hesitant to say that I think he would come back to compete at the Olympia. I think he would do a show potentially like The Rock's show, potentially the Arnold Classic. But if he did do the Olympia, look at the lineup that we had this year. How do you think Phil would place in this year's Olympia lineup? And do you think if he comes back next year and Ramy wins this year, do you think Phil can take out Big Ramy? I mean, he held off Big Ramy for years. Big Ramy, I don't think ever beat Phil. Certainly not at the Olympia, but I don't think at any other competition outside it either. So if Phil were to come back, could he beat Brandon? Could he beat Ramy? If he were closer to 100% than he was in 2020? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, next up in the news, if we're talking about 7 weeks out physique updates, here is a guest posing from Akim the Beast Williams. The BK Beast, rather. And this was at the NPC Oklahoma Classic, I guess it was. And this was at exactly 7 weeks out. And honestly, again, Akim is a guy, there's so many guys in this lineup that I feel like get counted out and that they're really not in the conversation as much. And Akim did just beat Kamal at the Tampa Pro. That's how he qualified for the Olympia. Kind of a controversial win. A lot of people felt Kamal should have won. And I think here, compared to a lot of the updates that we've seen at 7 weeks out, I think Akim looks a little bit behind, and I think conditioning is one of the things that historically Akim has really proven to have the most difficulty with, and that is consistent conditioning. And the 1 year that he did really nail his conditioning, a couple years ago, he was first caught at the Olympia, but he hasn't been able to replicate that conditioning since, nor has he returned to that first call out at the Olympia. But I think when we're talking about this crazy deep competitor list, and we're talking about the potential of a wild card competitor, I think Akim is one of them, because when he does come in condition, which it's hard to predict if he will or won't, at this point I think you're safer to bet that he won't than he will, making him less of a wild card. But if he did, I think he could be back in the top 6 here. Akim is a mass monster. Make no mistake about it. He's probably just as big, if not bigger, than everybody in this lineup, including Big Ramy. He's probably just a few pounds less than Big Ramy on stage. But he doesn't get as lean, and that's the problem with Akim. But when he does, he's hard to beat. But let me know where you guys think Akim is going to place in this lineup. Honestly, this year, I think it's going to be difficult for him to be top 10. Now, continuing the tradition of 6.5 and 7 week out physique updates from the Olympia, we got another one from Samson Dauda today. Looking lean and mean, the second heaviest bodybuilder in this lineup behind Big Ramy. He looks to have made some very significant improvements since we saw him last on stage at the Arnold Classic, Ohio. In these updates and on social media, Samson looks very, very impressive. And I think the big question that we're all waiting to see answered is, will that size, will these Instagram updates, will these pictures, will all of that translate to a good placing at the Olympia? Will it show on stage the same way it shows on social media? Because with some guys, it doesn't show at all. Some guys, they look better on stage than they looked on social media. Samson is a guy that I feel like is a true wild card here. Like I said, second heaviest guy, second biggest guy in this lineup, and his conditioning looks on point. Certainly more conditioned than Akim that we just saw in that video, and I think you got to be talking about Samson as a guy that's definitely in the conversation for top 10. But again, it's that question of where in the top 10 are we talking? Is he a first call-out guy, or is he a more 8, 9, 10 guy? And the final story that I've got for you guys today, again, another physique update from Ramon Dino at 6.5 weeks out, making waves on social media with this latest update, looking a lot bigger, a lot more full, a lot more improved from how we saw him looking last year. And everybody's talking about Ramon. Chris Bumstead is a pretty solid champion, but the conversation now is who's next up? Which one of these young up-and-comers is going to be the guy to eventually dethrone the king? And the rapid progress that Ramon has been making has certainly injected himself into the conversation for a potential heir to the throne. So what do you guys think about Classic Physique? Is the next guy Ramon? Is it Terrence? Is it Urs? Is it somebody else that we're not even talking about right now? Let me know in the comment section below, and that's going to wrap it up for the video. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you leave a big thumbs up, a like if you did enjoy it, subscribe if you have not subscribed yet already. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.
Dancing in the good light, everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Dancing in the good light, everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in the good light. Everybody's dancing